Chicken bones, chicken bones. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, hello out there. This episode of The Tiger Pit is brought to you by Unplugged Essentials. Hemp is at the core of their innovation. However, not all hemp is created equal. Instead of using either isolated CBD or cannabis oil, which are the most popular cannabis-derived products on the market right now, they have infused their soaks with water-soluble hemp-derived phytocannabinoid-rich powder. This way, they can make sure that their products take advantage of the several hundred bioactive components present in hemp. They make no compromise in quality whatsoever and ensure each batch is lab-tested and 100% THC-free. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook, Unplugged Essentials, or you can go to their website, unpluggedfloatessentials.com. That's unpluggedfloatessentials.com, and get yours today. If you use the promo code TheTigerPit, you'll get an additional 10% off your order. We are also brought to you by Athlon Rub, the next generation in performance and recovery for all sports. Yes, each and every sport out there. It's a new approach on the traditional Thai oil formula. So those of you in the Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu community, you already know what's going on with Thai oil, and Athlon Rub is definitely taking it to the next level. Founded on a time-tested formula and enhanced through proven ingredients, made in an FDA and ISO certified lab in the U.S., certified and continually tested by Informed Choice to be free of banned substances, PEDs, and cross-contamination. You can go to athlonrub.com and take a look at the products they have available, check out what the people are saying about it, read testimonials, see if it's something that's going to fit into your routine. And when you decide it is, use the promo code TheTigerPit for an additional 10% off whatever you got in your cart. We are also brought to you by Knock My Legends, celebrating the heroes, legends, and icons of Muay Thai and kickboxing. Their mission is to create art in the form of apparel that honors each fighter's contribution to the sport and to the art that we love. They have a great selection of shirts and other gear and accessories that highlight the greats of the sport from the past all the way up to today. I like the Kensack shirt a lot, and if you follow them on Instagram, they've been kind of hinting maybe at some designs that they might be working with or some upcoming stuff. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and check out some of the things I was talking about at Knock My Legends, NAKMUAY Legends.com is the website, and Facebook and Instagram is Knock My Legends. And once again, if you find something you like, enter the promo code TheTigerPit for an additional 10% off of your purchase. All right, we are also brought to you by Diplomatico Rum, which is distributed in over 80 countries throughout the world. It holds the Ron de Venezuela DOC and is recognized as one of the finest rums in the world. I can attest to that. I love this stuff, man. You put like 3-4 ice cubes in a glass, give yourself a nice home pour, not what they give you in the bar. They have the traditional, it's the black bottle with the old guy on the label, and that guy just looks so cool. It makes you just want to buy the bottle just for that. The prestige level and the distillery collection. You can find them online at rondiplomatico.com. That's rondiplomatico.com. Go there and check out what they have, and also learn more about the history behind one of the best rums in the world. We are also brought to you by the Stepping Razor Barbershop.com at 952 Flushing Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. This one's for our New Yorker listeners here. Stepping Razor leans into the realm of the classic 1940s barbershop without being stuck in the retro vortex. They specialize in American classic traditional haircut styles and shaves. But if you're bald like me, go there and get your beard trimmed up. I know trimming a mustache is a pain in the... So better to have somebody who knows what they're doing do it and not have to shave your face because you messed something up on accident. You can check them out on Instagram at The Stepping Razor Barbershop, or go to thesteppingrazor.com to book an appointment and get yourself looking good and feeling good. That's thesteppingrazor.com. And lastly, this is another one for you New York listeners here. We are brought to you by the Dojo NYC at 1082 Cypress Avenue in Ridgewood. It's that, like, it depends on what side of the street you're on. Like, you could be in Brooklyn on this side and you're in Ridgewood on this side. Anyways, the dojo is a fully equipped martial arts training center specializing in Caipirinha Jiu-Jitsu, traditional Muay Thai, and MMA. Whether you want to just get a good workout in or compete at a high level, it's a great place to train. You can go to thedojonyc.com and check out their classes, instructors, and programs, and sign up for a free trial class if you're in New York City and you want to check them out. That's thedojonyc.com online or the Dojo NYC on Instagram and Facebook. Our guest on this episode is a voiceover artist, actor, and singer-songwriter. She has started out at Daptone Records singing backup for Naomi Shelton and the Gospel Queens, and has gone on to sing backup for Alicia Keys, Mark Ronson, Gnarls Barkley, and a slew of others. She's also a member of the Resistance Revival Chorus and is the frontwoman for her own band, Alba and the Mighty Lions. She currently is the voice of Aunt Beth and Abuela on iHeartRadio's hit podcast Lethal Lit, a Tig Torres mystery. You can check her out on Instagram and Facebook at Alba's Mighty Lions, and check out her music as well and see what she's got going on and what she's been up to. So, would you please welcome Alba Ponce de Leon to the Tiger Pit?
On the next episode of Adventures in Edibles.
It's a Cavarian and a Polish guy.
Okay, we'll start the podcast right here.
It's 9 o'clock. It's dark enough. I'm putting on my ninja suit.
That's the part, right? You got to get into your head.
Now you're struggling with your words.
Check the Yelp reviews. I'm sure they have like 4. It's amazing.
I was trying to get that out, and I had a hard time struggling in my head.
They just see something that they don't recognize and they check out immediately.
I had a point.
Coming to the stage.
I've heard this many times from different sources.
You didn't even know me. I was hanging out there.
This one was going to be the more together one.
Tiger Pit.
You know someone who's making it?
No, he said that we can order it from some bodega or whatever, and they have it. But he said that's like a 2-week production time or something like that. I was like,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, but he said it's legit.
He's got the intel. I don't know.
Have you ever had it before?
No, I never had it before. I'm a little intimidated.
To try it?
Yeah.
Why? Is it really crazy or something?
No, I don't know. I guess like it just seems. Yeah, it seems like strong.
Nice on it.
Yeah.
Oh, strong. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm
That's okay.
not trying to do this
Fire
right
water.
now. I just gotta send a note so I don't forget tomorrow for work.
He was saying how, what was he saying? What was the band he was playing in? Malditos Punks?
Malditos Punks, yeah.
Oh, cool. I like the name.
The show got canceled in the city, and it ended up being held in the back of a bodega.
In Corona.
Oh, cool. That's so funny. I wonder where did he? We got to find out where it was.
I know, right? It sounds like a dream gig.
Yeah, exactly.
So rad.
But yeah. So when we were talking about the poke thing, he tells us about it, and I'm like, man, that sounds pretty crazy. We should do it. We should have that here. So we're gonna order like 2 liters of it. 2 liters. It comes
Nice.
in a 2-liter bottle.
That's the show you guys have to do with us.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a good one.
And it's
I'll call it the-
we were gonna do
Polka.
basically like a what do we call it? We were gonna do
Poke
like,
party.
I know we call it poke party, but like
Que pulquería.
that's what I said.
That's what he said.
I said to him. I was like,
And then he was breaking down the pulquerías and everything.
Yeah. Pulquería. That's
Yeah,
funny.
like everybody brings in like 2 or 3 cumbias that like you just
yeah, we all gotta
love,
play it
you
and
know.
talk about it on
Love.
the air and
Everyone
stuff.
just talk about
Love it.
Right? That sounds fun. That's
Yeah,
a party.
that
That is a
sounds really
party.
fun.
That is a party.
I like it.
Oh man! But were you born here or?
I was born in Mexico, but I came here as a baby, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, 'cause I saw some of the stuff that I've listened to before and stuff, but that you sing in Spanish and stuff. That's cool. How often?
Thanks.
How what would you say the ratio is that you sing in Spanish? Most
I
of your
mean,
stuff or?
It's kind of like half and half. Like the set is usually a mix of English and Spanish, and even like songs that are in both.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like in and out the whole time.
Yeah. How do you feel when I'm only asking because I used to sing a lot in Creole and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At one point, I would say most of the set, wouldn't you
Yeah.
say, back in the day?
But part
like
of
in
it,
the 90s and stuff?
we would probably get a little too nice on stage. And then you'd be like, oh shit, Danny's singing in Creole. The train's about to go off the rails. He's like, I wasn't saying anything. I didn't remember the words.
I was just going with my feelings.
Oh, I definitely had those days. I was like, shit, I forgot the words in English, so I just made them up in Creole. Nobody else knows.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing with music is like you don't. Lyrics can be beautiful and can be important and can like mean something to people, but they can also mean nothing. I mean, how often do you like listen? I listen to stuff in other languages. I have no idea what they're saying.
So
you
it's
know?
just about the sound.
But it's just it's like something about it. Like your voice can convey so much.
Sure. The sound, the emotion, the texture of it, everything is there. And
yeah, you could be singing in gibberish and like still be touching. You know what I mean? Reaching
right.
someone.
Yeah, that just the essence of what you would be saying, just where it's coming from is
Exactly.
coming out. You're hitting like the core like your spark of creativity.
Yeah.
That's why demos are always better than the final.
That's right.
True.
It's, you know, because you have like
It's like pure emotion.
demos
Pure-
have guts.
Yeah.
You know, demos just have guts, and then
Yeah, you're not trying to do the polish
you're like, oh
thing
wait,
with
let
a
me
demo.
clean up all the like vibe that I put in there.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's like, just let it go.
Yeah. But I guess what I was trying to get to with the singing in different languages, after a while, I started feeling, it started like messing with me where I was like, you know, nobody knows what the fuck I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I gotta be singing in English all the time, man. And I started singing in English way more often. And then I started missing it. I'm like, why did I do that? Do you ever feel, I guess Spanish is a little bit more universal language. Does it, I don't know, actually, I don't even know what your crowd is like, but is it a lot of Spanish speaking?
I think I'm noticing more often there's, well, you know, it's like you said, this is New York, so there's like a lot of
Yes,
people who
everybody.
even like aren't necessarily native speakers, but they know enough to like pick up on, you know, like the gist of what's happening. So I definitely noticed that there's people in the audience who know. And sometimes I've had occasions where people come up to me and they're like, oh, it was so great to like finally hear someone singing in Spanish because
Yeah.
I think, you know, there's...
And in another way, that's not the expected way.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I feel like there's kind of a genre that, you know, when people think that this is like the world music thing, which I kind of hate that term.
Yeah,
I hate
do
that
too.
term. And I think actually, kind of even more to your point, I think for me, my struggle has been less about worrying if people understand me and I think I've gotten more in my head about when to write in English and when to write in Spanish, in the sense that I'm just like, which one is me? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
more like a personal identity thing where I'm just like, I don't know, sometimes I feel this and that. And I think I kind of like wrestled with that for a very long time before I was like, you know, why am I... Put them in the same song, like it can be within
Yeah.
the same
No,
set of
that's a good
lyrics.
point.
Like,
That's funny.
I think it took me a very long time before I was like, you know what, you're overthinking this, and I think it also got in my head a lot too, because people will, no matter what your trade or your job is, like people will always have opinions that they're going to be very free telling you about it.
Yeah,
I think as a performer, people always like to tell me things like, oh, you should be singing in Spanish because you sound the best when you sing in Spanish. And I know that's a compliment, and I try to remind myself all the time, like, that's a compliment. That's not meant to be like a
Sure.
criticism.
Yeah.
But I think that's like, it's kind of hard because I think it's so tied up in identity for me, like language and like the way people see you. And it's like, I don't know. I think as a person of color, you just like get so, these are things that you're trying to sort out your whole life anyway.
Yeah.
So when people say stuff to you and you're still like developing your identity as an artist, you're like, oh, maybe I should be only singing in Spanish because, like, that seems to be what everyone else likes. And it took me so long to be like, wait a minute, it doesn't matter what everybody else likes. Right. You just got to figure out what you feel and just, and even if it's like in the same breath, just put it out there.
Yeah, and because it's weird, it is a weird thing because especially because the Latin market is so strong and like such a good opportunity and like a way to like really get your music across to a whole demographic and just a lot of people in general, basically. That it's someone who says that to you, like you should be singing Spanish, you sound great in Spanish and blah, blah, or better in Spanish. It's like, would say. Sorry, those edibles just hit me right now. I was trying to get that out, and I had a hard time struggling in my head.
Oh my God.
I was just trying to get that out.
Funny.
I had a point.
We'll
Because
find
you
it.
fucked me up when you said when you said like that that you were struggling with that and how you want to speak that you want to sing
Now
in
you're
both.
struggling with your words.
That you want to sing in both.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, fuck, I totally felt like that before. And I think that's what I was trying to get to before, and I couldn't articulate that. But that was a struggle that I was going through at the time where I'm like, nobody fucking knows what I'm singing.
Right.
You know, and then I'm like, I should just fucking sing in English. And then I'm like, no, but then that's my first language. I should be singing in that. And there's, you know, I could be the person that's doing, you know, weird, crazy psychedelic reggae rock, but in Creole. Nobody's fucking doing that. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, no, I'm the only Creole person in this band. What am I really represent? You know, so I started being like,
your family enough to at least get us.
I know you're honorary.
Glass of grog, man. I know what aguardiente is.
But it's really true because I think every artist is always trying to like figure out their voice, and I think you're always in that search, even when you know, think like, oh, I found, you know, this, I understand this moment for myself finally, but like you evolve, so you're always constantly like, oh yeah, but what am I about now? What am I about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think though it's the same thing with like cultural identity too. I think so much. I mean, it sounds like you do this too. Like I write a lot of personal things, and of course, like it's not like necessarily, oh, here's a straight up biographical song, but a lot of it is influenced by my personal life and by like my growing up and the way that I think. So yeah, it is like, it's like very hard to take those apart and say like, oh, well, you know, I guess like today I'm more Latina, and today I'm like more American, and today, you know, and also that's
you have the benefit of doing that, like, because you speak,
Yeah.
like you know, you have one foot in each world, you know.
But I think that's
But it's
And
it's
some
tough. It makes
things
it tough.
I can say from my perspective, hearing like you sing and listening to like lots of just music from everywhere, some things just sound better not in English. You know, so it's like you don't have to be locked down to, you know, you
Yeah.
might do it this way one time and then you do it this way another time.
Right.
You know?
I think though it's like the part that you have, the part that's the hard part of that is like is where you have to become comfortable with the idea that people will have their own interpretation of you. And I think that's true in any part of your artistic journey, but I think when it's like tied up in like how they think like Latin music should be, or how they think American music, you know, or how they think that part is hard for me. Like I sometimes feel like I'm like, I'm over it, I don't care. And then I have moments where I slip back into being like, oh, I don't know. Like I mean, it resonated with me when you were saying the thing about like, well, I'm the only, you know, Creole person in the band, and it's like, yeah, I'm the only Latino woman. I'm the only woman in my band. I'm the only Latina in my band. Like sometimes I think like, well, does that mean I'm authentic enough? You know what I mean? It's like this idea of
or at least not
authenticity.
you, but like the ensemble. Yeah, when I explain to people about with us with the Cool and Deadly and stuff, I'm like, it's a Cape Verdean, a Colombian, a Cuban, and a Polish guy.
If you saw the picture and you heard
We are
us,
the
you'd be
United
like,
Nations, man.
That's
Right.
not supposed to sound like what I'm
Right,
hearing.
right,
now.
right.
But because I guess back to my point about singing in Spanish and just singing in other languages, like because the Cool and Deadly is a Colombian, a Cuban, and then a Cape Verdean who speaks Creole and Portuguese and of my fucked up brand of Spanish.
Which has destroyed my version of
Yeah, still he digressed.
Party's ripping it, and then you're like, yeah. And then you're like, well, yeah, but in Portuguese we say it like this, and I'm like,
But well, it's funny how Harvey always says how his mom grew up. She always hangs out with Portuguese women, and he's like, "You sound exactly like my mom's friends speaking Spanish." He's like, "I understand you perfect because that's her friends will like that." He goes, "But I don't think other Spanish people know what you're saying."
Nice.
So I'm like, "Oh man, you're killing my vibe, dude. Trying to get good at Spanish." But what I was going to say about singing in another language was this was the thought that I had lost in the edibles, was that because like for like me being Cape Verdean and stuff and singing in Creole or singing in Portuguese and stuff, is that the demographic is so much huger with the Latin market, and we're like the bastards of that market. You know what I'm saying? Like every Portuguese or Cape Verdean singer sings in Spanish because it's like the cousin. So
but you guys had Cesare.
everybody has one. You know, they got the one. Yeah, she makes up for it for sure.
Yeah.
But like,
She covers a lot of ground.
I've always struggled with like the whole like. We've talked about it before, like that maybe I should sing a reggae song in Spanish or something like that, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't do that. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like, no.
You can
no.
do it.
I know, I totally can do it.
You can do it.
I know I can do it.
But you know, Harvey would be standing back there playing guitar, being like, laughing. He'd be like, listen, Danny sounds like an old Portuguese lady speaking Spanish, singing a song.
That's awesome.
Oh my god. Yeah, but if I was struggling about singing in Creole and not thinking nobody knows what the fuck I'm saying, I'll be up there singing in Spanish and not even the Spanish people know what I'm saying. So I'm not going to be doing too well. You know? Yeah, but I was just curious at what your angle was, how you felt.
I mean,
about
I think
that
at the
stuff.
end of the day, it's like, it's the same kind of the conversation we were having earlier of like, you can't it's like, you just have to let go. And you just
Very
have
true.
to be like, you know what? I mean, there's times where I just even mess up my own lyrics.
Oh.
Doesn't matter what language. I'll just like sing
that all the
something
time.
out of the blue. And I'm like, why did I sing that? I have no idea. I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. And then...
I forget lyrics I've been singing for 10 years.
Yeah, and you just like make something up.
Yep.
You're like, now it's this,
Yep.
and then or like you just make sounds, you know.
Yep.
And I think ultimately, like those are such great exercises of just being like, let it go. That's how it goes.
Yeah, sure.
That's how it
sure,
went
sure.
tonight.
And that's what separates the ones that can do it and the ones that can't do it. You know, it's things like that, I think, you know, just being able to do it on the fly and just,
Well, that's the beauty of life.
You know.
We're just
you know,
throwing it out.
just ride that wave.
Throwing it out.
The magic carpet ride.
Yeah, I'm just connecting
You
with the
know.
audience.
And nobody remembers any.
No, it's true. It's such a moment. It's a flash.
True.
It's a flash, and then, you know, you remember because you're the one in the moment doing it. You know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a bug out. Yeah, I gotta let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, I've been stressing that lately. I've just been like, fuck, just internal conflict about it. But it's funny. A second ago, you mentioned something about like sometimes you write things that are like really personal. Mm-hmm. That's what you said, and I was like, in my head, I was like, fuck, man, how often do I write something so personal? And I'm like, this is great. I'll never sing this.
Really, you don't like to sing stuff that's like.
I have a lot of things that is like that, but there are definitely things that I'm like, I'm not gonna play this again. I can't do it. You know, it's like I can't get in there.
Yeah.
Especially because like I can definitely hold my emotions with like different types of moments of a situation, different scenarios and stuff. But there's something about the combination of music sonically and what it does to me combined with internal feelings, emotional feelings. Those two in unison can really fuck me up. So I can't really be taking the chance to put myself out.
I see.
You know what I mean? It's something about music, and I've always been like that as a little kid. It's like something about music, like certain sound, like just sounds of certain voices or anything. Yeah, man. To this level of my life, 42 years old, I'll still hear certain things, or even if I sing certain things in certain just even humming or certain melodies or whatever, I'll just start crying.
Dude.
It's really weird.
Oh yeah, me too.
And it's because it's the feeling that you don't even know. Sometimes you don't even know what the feeling is. You don't
Yeah.
even know what it is.
Where is it? You're like,
Where's it
you don't
coming
know where
from?
it came from, but it just.
But your body
hits
needs to
you.
release that.
Yeah.
But your mind and your heart.
There's a
need to release
version
it.
of Joe Higgs doing "There's a Reward for Me."
I know the one you're
Right?
talking
And he's
about.
singing and he's playing guitar and he's just in this little thing and he's strumming. You know?
Yes.
And he's like, it doesn't sound like reggae now.
No, he said, but it is.
And he goes, but it is. And then he launches into every day.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You know,
But that's a perfect example that you're using.
Every time it hits me, I'm one
Yeah.
breath away from just starting to start crying.
Yes, that's
It's
a perfect.
so
You could have
amazing.
come up with a better example. That is exactly what I mean. Like that, hearing that song, I'll be like, oh my god. But even worse, I think what I'm trying to say is even worse is if I try to sing it. It's just me singing it, not even listening to them. That would definitely get me choked up. But me singing it by myself, it'll just fucking break me down, man.
That goes back to what you were talking about, how as an artist and a lot of the musicians we've had on here, everybody has raised this point. To really become the best artist you can be, you just gotta let go.
Yeah.
And then you're at
Yeah.
Be in
you're
it.
at that whether it's on stage or in the studio or just walking down the street thinking of music in your head. You're just everything's let go and you're just you can fall into that thing and you know that it's like, okay, I got you. Just go.
You know, that reminds me of. So letting go is always hard for me because I just like want to do everything well, like I have that thing of like, no, I know, but I feel like I need to because I feel like we suddenly subliminally plugged that movie a million times. I don't even know that song, but I know like every kid in America knows it.
I got a 5-year-old daughter. I know that song very well.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you could put her on the show and she could teach it to me.
I watch it 11 times in a row.
Yeah, today. But it reminds me that one of the things about like control and like wanting to have control is that you realize like you can't, like you said, you can't be your best self. But also sometimes I think in the process of like letting go of that concept, you actually gain more control than you think. Like in the process of like letting things just happen, you end up having more control. And I guess what I mean is I recall like a couple years ago, Charles Bradley was at one of my shows and he was a dear friend of mine, and I did the show and he was like, afterwards he was like, oh, like, Alba, you killed it. Like you were amazing, but, and I was like, uh-oh. And he was just like, you gotta learn how to command your band. You gotta learn how to be in charge when you're on stage, and you gotta learn how to tell those dudes what to do. And I was like, yeah, okay. And the thing is, like, he was so right. And the reason that I had never been able to do that before, I think, was I was so in my head. I was so worried about if I was doing it right, if I was like just judging the whole time, to the point that I couldn't just be. I just couldn't just be and be like, you do this, or this is where we're stopping. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't lead because I was just so wrapped up in like doing it right. Yeah, exactly. Like doing it right. And I took that to heart, and I like went home and I was like, okay, he's right. I gotta learn how to let go, and I gotta learn how to like stand up there and just make choices and not be worried. And I swear from that moment on, I just like would always in the back every time I did a show, I would think about what Charles said, and I would just be like, all right, this is my next chance. This is my next chance to get better at this and to just stop thinking, get up there and stop thinking so hard.
Yeah.
And it made a huge difference. I mean, I'm always working on it, but I feel like that point in time, that was like a turning point for me.
It's a big one. Like as I've learned just as a producer, it's like you can instantly spot when a musician or performer is thinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
And you're like, as like watching that performance or listening to that or recording that, this would be, you're so close to like the most bomb shit.
Right.
You're so close, but just like you're holding yourself back, just like.
Yeah, you can't drive the ship the whole time.
Yeah,
just,
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, you're not free. You're not free to make moments happen.
Yeah, because if you're trying to drive the ship during a performance, you're basically just like reciting something. It's like a recital. This is the song.
And
But
you're
like,
not connecting.
when you let go, the song is a new song.
Well, I learned this
Every time you play it, it's a new song.
I learned this as a drummer, right? So I would be sitting back there and I would be counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was like had this like insane focus on like make sure my timing is perfect. I'm in my head thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't have any pocket, and I'm a drummer back there thinking, which is like speed bump.
Right.
Bass players trying to lock in with you or come up with something in conjunction, they can't sit in their pocket.
Right.
And now they're like thinking about, is it me or is it them? Right. It's a bass player, so they're going to go, it's you. So, and then, it's just a domino effect all the way down.
Yeah.
So this way, nothing like, because I'm back there thinking, the whole foundation of this is shot. And the second that I was like, just listen to what's going on, and everything was like, oh, okay, I'm connected to the center of the universe right now. Like we are all on the same page, and this is good.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the way our approach is. When we play, we have the definitive way that we play all our songs. But every time we play is like an abstract version of all those songs, but with the key elements of that we know. Like we have the map.
If somebody gives
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like the map that is definitive. That's the map You cannot get lost if you know this map. But you should be able to fucking paint all over the place.
We're not all driving on the same road.
Yeah. We're all in separate cars.
are.
We're all in separate cars, actually. We're going to the same place. We got the same map
Right.
to get there. We're all driving different cars.
Yeah.
You know? What the fuck you driving? You know, I'm driving a Lamborghini. I'm driving a
then
fucking Cadillac. You know, we're all moving
There's
around.
songs that we do that like it's a
Easy.
handful of
No break.
songs,
Easy.
and it's all segued in between. So everybody, like you said, everybody knows the outline,
Right.
and then you can tell by how somebody's playing. We're like, we usually do this 4, but I think we're gonna go another 4
Right,
after
right,
this.
right.
And then you're like, okay, sure enough. You know, you can all read each other, and then
Oh yeah.
yeah, it just turns into this thing. you know?
We have one way to play it all, but we also have 100 ways to play it. It's weird. It's like, you do it one way, you can do it 100 different ways. It's
Nothing
up to
wrong
you to
with the
figure this out.
microcosm.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of like the dream as a band is like when you get to a level of comfort where like you can, like everybody can listen to each other and go
Yes.
and
I know that
The
you know
organism
where the
can-
change is.
I agree.
yeah, can be moving and stretching.
I agree. When you get to that point, you can play with a lot of different people, best people. But if you have a crew of people that that's your friends and that can, and you are locked in on that, that's it.
Yeah.
It's the golden goose, man.
Yeah,
That's it, you know what I'm
definitely.
saying? Like, you got it at that
Yeah.
point. You know, you might not have the monies, but you got that. You know, and a lot of people are trying to get that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So on that note,
On that note. And we have solved music. we have told you the secret to music.
I think yeah, seriously, that was heavy. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to get words. I couldn't get words
Yeah, you
out.
got
Fuck,
lost in
man.
edibles, man.
Damn. That was hard. I felt it. I felt it creeping up too, and I was like, no, not right now. Wait, let me get through this sentence, and then you can break down when somebody else takes it. No, fuck that. Didn't work out. I have to throw the towel in. Oh man,
happens,
it does happen.
On the next episode of Adventures in Edibles.
No, that's that's our style.
You do voiceover stuff.
I
too,
do
right?
voiceover stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Since I came to New York, so I would say, I mean, I came to New York 12 years ago, but like really like 10, I would say 10 years ago was when I started really working.
Had you done that before, or was that just like a new venture
I didn't even know that was a thing. I
Really?
came, yeah, no, I came
You were
to
just
New
like,
York.
fuck it, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Not even like I had so I moved here because I wanted to pursue music and I wanted to go to acting school and like I had gone to school for politics and was like what am I doing, like this is not for me. And
politics?
Yeah. And because I was like, idealistic and passionate and
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm going to go to school for politics and become a lawyer and work in immigration and go to the Foreign
Help
Service.
people,
Help
yeah.
people. And then I got through the program.
Stick it to the man.
Right, exactly. And I got through the program and I was like, I'm not cut out for this. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
heavy duty, right?
strong enough. I'm too emotional. I
Yeah.
can't, like, I saw people I was working with and realized, like, you have to be so thick-skinned and
Yeah.
so tough and just there's so many, like I worked for this lawyer at one point and she did pro bono work for migrant workers in California. And so like all of our cases were like with migrant workers and man, that stuff was so heavy and I would just get so demoralized. I was like, we're never gonna win. And then we were working on cases that she had been working on for like 10 years, you know?
God.
And every day she would come in and just be like, okay,
We're kicking
here's the
ass.
new thing. Like we're doing this. And I don't know how she had the kind of fire that she did, but I realized in that experience that I was just like, I am on the wrong path. Like I cannot do her job. I see what she does and what it takes, and I
Yeah.
know I can't do that.
Thank God for people like that, though.
Oh yeah, thank God. I mean, I would look at her and just think like, I don't know how she gets up and shows up, and not just shows up, but shows up like in every way. Like she's present. She's like, okay, on to the next thing that we need to figure out how to get, people to testify about this or get, information about XYZ. And I was just like, oh God, how is she still like, we can do it.
With
We
the
can do
fire
it.
every
yeah,
day.
with
Yeah.
fire every
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
even though like there's constant like roadblocks. So yeah, I just was like, okay, this is not my path. Like I have to figure out what it is. So I took some time and then ended up moving to New York because at some point it just kind of clicked that I was like, okay, I think I'm a performer. Like I think I want to figure out how to use my voice in that way. And I was like, well, I could move to LA or I could move to New York. But then I was like, I don't want to drive. So I moved to New York.
Where did you move to New York from?
I moved from St. Louis. I
Okay.
grew up in the Midwest, had gone there for school, stayed there for a couple of years after, and then was like, all right, I think I want to go to New York and try it out. Like, what's that all about? Also, I had lived in California before, so I was just like, I don't think I want to go back. Yeah, I mean, I love California,
Me too.
but I didn't think that. I was like, I think I'm looking for a different type of excitement. So I decided to come here. And so, yeah, anyway, I moved here. I got into this like acting program. And in the meantime, I had this manager, like kind of type of person. And she was just getting me work. And anyway, she ended up sending me on this like last minute gig. They just needed somebody to do a voiceover for like a really funny product. And I was like, okay, sure. And I went. I just like, I don't even know what it is really, but I went and did the job. And I got there and I was like, wow, this is kind of awesome. Like, I love this. This is so cool. And this was like kind of in the early, I mean, again, like this was probably 10, if not more years ago. And the voiceover world has changed quite a bit. Like the Spanish market is so big now, or is growing so much, it's more developed.
Yeah.
But at that point in my life, like, first of all, I wasn't union yet, so I was working like kind of crappy jobs.
Yeah.
And second of all, like just to show you how far it has come, like I went to this job, and this is in New York City where there's a lot of Spanish speakers. I went to this job, but they didn't have anybody who had even translated the copy into Spanish. So I got there and they were like, yeah, and they were like, so can you like write this in Spanish? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I like wrote it out, and they're like, great. Now can you say it? And this was like already a very copy heavy commercial. And so when you say things in Spanish, it's usually like twice as long.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I had to like micro machines my way through that ad, and I was like, like speaking so fast.
Oh my God.
And had to translate it. And the guy was like, wow, awesome. I have no idea what you said, but it sounded right to me. You know, like it was kind of.
That's crazy that they would
so
even take the
sketchy.
chance of airing it. Like,
I mean, yeah, it was like one of those infomercial type things. I'm sure they were just like, as long as people put it on TV and like somebody buys this product, it's fine.
Crazy.
But it was really fun. Yeah, exactly. There's like, can you speak Spanish? It sounds good to me. Do it. And I just got lucky. It was like the right moment, the right time. I did that, and instantly I was like, I'm hooked. I have to figure out how to do this. And so I just like, you know, this was like the Craigslist days too. So I was like every day on Craigslist, like voiceover. What is it? Does anybody need a voiceover person? Like who else? Like just typing it into Google, like what? Anything, any kind of job. I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it.
crazy.
I'll do it.
Are you still doing a lot of that stuff? Or
Yeah,
not
that's
as-
my job.
So
That's my
it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it took me a long time to get to that point of like, okay, now I'm just doing this. But
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I've been trying to crack into the recording. Of
Oh,
side
really?
of it. Yeah.
I know some people.
I've been trying to do that.
I know. They're just so supposed to be in that world, dude. You know? Not just like recording music, but like recording like all aspects.
I know what I look like on paper,
Mm.
and I look like I'm a guy from a time.
I see.
So now
I
it's
see.
like, okay. let
From
me
the
just
band The
fix it.
Time?
Yeah. I invented time because of the gray. I look like
Father time.
Yeah, nice.
yeah. So
Oh, you may know me from my past work. I'm Father Time.
I can't see the future. I can only see the past.
Did you do music in St. Louis?
No,
Like
I
prior to
didn't.
moving to New York?
No, I mean, my background in music was really only it was very small. Like, I mean, I grew up playing piano and stuff like that. Like in my just in my home, my dad's like very musical, so we had a lot of instruments around, and like
That's awesome.
I like dabbled with a lot of things, but I never thought of myself as a singer or a songwriter. So what at least I had been living here in New York. I mean, in college, my experience with music was it was really like I got involved with the Latin community and was like participating in just like cultural things of like representing your culture. Like, and I was like, oh, you know, I want to represent Mexico. Like I was really into listening to music, so it was really more of like, oh, I want to share like mariachi music with the world. So I would kind of do covers of like mariachi songs like in performances.
That's great.
Yeah, but I wasn't writing. It was just like it was almost like I didn't even see myself like that. I just was like, oh, I'm connecting with my culture and like I'm sharing
It's performing.
Yeah, it was performing
Yeah.
for sure, but it wasn't. I don't think I thought of myself as an artist. I think I thought of myself as just like, oh, I'm just like interpreting songs
More
and
from like on the cultural aspect.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
More like
folkish.
exactly. It was like more like the folkloric aspect.
Very
of-
important.
Very important because, as a matter of fact, like obviously I couldn't see into the future at that point, but that is a huge influence in the type of music that I sing, and like it did start something for me. I just didn't know that yet.
Yeah, no, that's funny that you're saying that you actually. That's inspiring, actually, to hear you say that you actually went for that to like push your cultural roots and stuff in your first venture in music. Because one of the things that's always bothered me about my musical career is that I never really did any Creole cultural stuff. I love it, and I know a lot about it, and I'm friends with, I grew up pretty much every important musician in Cape Verde. I grew up around them because when they were in America, they were at my family's houses.
Right, I see.
So I was around them, and I definitely
His
know
dad was
better.
in a
Like,
band
Ah,
that was-
okay.
And his
So you had a musical family.
Yeah,
already,
definitely.
and yeah.
and I know better, and I grew my Uncle May is a beast. But I grew up, around that, it's like this is a very important aspect of my personality, and every time I hang out with anybody and we talk about this stuff, I'm like, I get crazy, and it's always killed me that I never like explored me just really doing like cultural stuff, especially because the island that my family mainly comes from, we're known for singing Modena. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's kind of like they call it the blues of Cape Verde, but that's a very weird interpretation because it's not blues. When you think of blues, you think dum 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 dum.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't use the word blues, but like the basis of Modena is like they call it saudade.
Oh, yeah,
saudade,
yeah,
saudade,
yeah.
let's
Yeah,
say
yeah.
in Brazilian, same thing. So it's the longing, that feeling,
Right.
which brings me back to me just even singing a couple things in certain tones,
Yeah.
and it will bring tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
That music has gotten that down to a science.
Right, yeah.
That music that's
You
what they
feel-
do. That's what they're doing, is basically
You
trying
feel
to
it.
make you cry. So, and I've always been told by like, my uncles or even like cousins of mine where they're like, dude, you should so sing Modena, man. Like your voice is like, even your personality to everything is like perfect for that kind of music, because male Modena singers were like guys that would drink grog and like they were kind of like like happy-go-lucky. They party and stuff with you, and they're good guys. But then when it comes down to dropping a song like that, then you see you're like, oh, there's a darker side there.
It's like rancheras.
What's it called?
Rancheras, like that's the Mexican kind of equivalent, I think, of what you're
Really?
saying.
Oh,
yeah,
I gotta
it's
check
like
it out.
Yeah,
I love new things.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to do a swap. We're gonna do a music swap. Music swap.
Rancheras.
Yeah, rancheras. So,
And give me some more. What is this?
so this is like, I mean, you've definitely heard rancheras. It's like kind of the quintessential sort of Mexican, or one of them anyway, music of like heartbreak. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like heartbreak, and it definitely comes from a macho tradition, like in Mexican macho, of like, here's a strong man, but he's like sensitive and emotional, like
That ultra troubadour,
yeah, it's like the
balladeer,
dream. Yes,
like-
but then of course, like there were women who came and started like
That's how
doing
modern
it
it is too.
as well.
There's a lot of women singing.
Yeah, and who became like icons of
Yeah.
the music as well. But it
But there's a
definitely
strong
began,
foundation of that,
Of
yeah.
course, yeah. I mean, it's came.
That's interesting. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Maybe that's gonna get my Spanish really good.
There you go.
Yes, there you go. I actually that happened when I was young. I can't say that I'm good with French anymore, but when I was young, I got more excited about learning French when I started like trying to translate. Like I would find songs I liked, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna
What are
like
they
translate it, and I would have my little dictionary.
That's a good exercise, though.
It was a great exercise, and I was like, I want to be able to speak so I could like understand these things. Then I got older and too self-conscious and stopped practicing, I was like, oh, I don't
I know,
want
that's
to.
the
I don't
thing.
want to fail.
Hey, that's
There
that
it
letting
is.
go.
There's that I don't want to fail thing.
That's that letting go.
Yeah, let go.
You know, it's funny. It's like, especially when you're doing podcasts like this and you're talking, little things get said, little bits get said that you're like, it sparks something in your head. And you're like, I can't say anything right now because you'll break up the flow. Not that this was an important topic or anything, but you said that you grew up in a musical family. Your dad was like a musical person and stuff. It made me think where I was like, I've been struggling with this thing lately where my kids will go into my studio and they start messing around. I'm like, stop touching things. You're going to break my guitar. And then I'm like, fuck, they're never going to learn how to play them if I keep doing this.
Right.
If I keep telling them, stop touching things. And I've been struggling with that a lot lately. I'm just like, oh, man, I don't know what to do. I keep yelling at them, tell them, knock it off.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they have they asked you to teach them anything? Like,
No,
do they approach you about that
I
stuff?
showed
No.
Z a couple
Yeah, he
times
has with
on
my son.
drums, like,
Because sometimes it's hard with
They learn
parents,
better
right?
from other people.
Yeah, I was gonna say like in my experience, or at least like from what I don't remember as much for myself when I was young. If I would ask my dad, but I definitely like have a lot of friends now who teach music, and kind of seems like a common theme is like I have some friends who teach kids who their parents are musicians, and I'm like, oh, that's funny, they didn't teach them themselves. And it's like, yeah, it's the thing is like when it's your parent, so often you're just like, I don't want to listen.
Yeah.
I can't listen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like hard to
Yeah.
kids are kids.
Yeah, that wasn't my experience. My dad
the
didn't
parents
teach
are also
me.
kind of like, let's put them in there for an hour and then at least we can go away.
Right.
You know, that's like they're away.
Totally.
My dad didn't teach me how to play. My dad taught me how to. It's weird to say the business of music. It's not like I'm like this like successful like business person with music, but like in a sense where you know how the binder. You call me the binder, and you guys all call me the binder.
If there was ever anybody that could crush tour management.
Oh.
He taught me to be that guy.
Yeah.
Aha.
That's the schooling I got from him.
That's
and
so valuable.
He chose to do that, and he'll say
Yeah.
it to this day. He'll say that I knew you would find it on your own anyway. Like you did it, you did it on your own. But like that was the important thing that I need to pass to you is how to. Because he always says, he's like, I knew you're not gonna work for anybody. You're not gonna. He's like, and if you're in a band, you're gonna need to do it on your own. You need to do it, and it's true. Like I did all
It's
the
really
bookings, I
true.
booked all our tours.
You
It was
did
like,
an amazing.
I would have printouts for
yeah.
these guys and shit.
Yeah.
Got us to the gig on time. We were like, "Where's everybody?"
Got us home alive.
Got us home a lot of time. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's the education that I got musically from him.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think I got like the musical education was like from like my uncles and stuff, not really from my dad. Well, maybe that's not fair to say. He played me a lot of stuff. He introduced me to a lot of music, but he didn't even show me how to play guitar or anything, and that always bummed me out. And he always yelled at me to not touch his guitar. He did the same thing.
Uh-oh.
I know I'm doing the same thing.
Maybe they do they have their own, maybe they need their own
I
instrument.
know. I've been saying that. That's funny. I've been saying that I need to buy my son his own guitar. He's left-handed anyway. He has no business touching my guitar.
Yeah, ruin your own guitar.
Well, my daughter's been going behind the drums every time every night when I'm there. Every night when I go downstairs and I start messing around with some stuff and like going through some tunes, she comes in, gets right. She doesn't say anything to me. She just goes. She has that look in her face. She's like. Like yeah, she crawls behind. She crawls behind it and she just goes like hits the snare in the floor tom like trying to count along with whatever I'm playing with. And I'm like, most of the time, 99.9% of it doesn't work. But I'm like, that was awesome. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, right on. You know, and Z just comes in and sits down on the floor and just watches me.
He'll be like, "I'm gonna be the manager.
Yeah.
Okay, you do this and you do this."
Well, he's
my
gonna
God.
be the singer of some band one day. The fucking kid like is such a singer. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
He tells me when I sing out of key all the time. That's not awesome. He tells me, "Dad, you're doing it wrong," and he'll sing it. And I'm like,
All right.
Jesus Christ! I'm like, that's so much better.
We
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
do sessions in the back of his house. We had like a studio, and Z would be in the studio, and he'd be like, "All right, Z, you gotta go." "Oh, yeah, fine." And then he'd come running back in, and then you got tired with that, so I was like, "Okay, you can stay in here if you're quiet." And then we would be playing like cutting,
Right.
you know, and then you'd hear him be like, "That's not good."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Z, get out of here."
Yeah,
Get out of
he's
here."
too loud.
And he's
I'm
like,
like,
"That's how you want to play it."
Oh my gosh. You gotta like bring those out someday and be like, hey,
I
want to
know.
hear yourself on your first recordings?
Believe me, it's something else. You know, believe this. One day, this kid walks in. I'm in the studio room, just me. He comes in. He goes, "Dad, I have to ask you a question." This is like 2 years ago.
Oh boy.
I said, "What's up?" He goes, "Is Bill close to your age?" And I was like, yeah, very close in age. And he goes, "Okay, so in 10 years, is Bill gonna look the same as he does now?" I was like, "Maybe not. You know, I'm not either. But you know, very close. You're still gonna know it's him. Why? What's up?" And he goes, "I just want to know because he's gonna be in my band." I started fucking dying when he said that. I was like, "What?" That was such a calculated question, you know. Like he probably sat in the room.
I was wondering, right? I was like, what? I was like, I wonder where he's going with like.
Why is he gonna look the same?
Yeah, whether he's gonna look the same? I was like, that's such a like, what's happening?
But
in
he's
his
doing
mind?
the math. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, 10 years.
I'm gonna
I'll
be
be like
this.
16, 17. So I'm gonna have this band. Bill's gonna be my drummer.
Oh my
dad's
God.
my dad's gonna play guitar. We'll get
Cool.
who else knows who's in this band? I don't even know who else. Maybe he
Right.
thinks he's taking over our band,
Maybe
and he's
so.
the new singer.
Dita's in the band.
Right.
He's gonna put Dita to work.
I was like, this dude is trying to take
So
over my band.
Funny.
Yeah, it was really hilarious. I really started dying. I was like, that was such a calculated question. This dude was probably sitting in the other room for God knows how long, wondering
Brewing
how
up
he's
that
gonna
statement,
how's he gonna drop
that
this
whole
on me.
Yep.
I can't come.
He's like, great. Band practice is gonna
He
be
wanted
on
to make sure you were
Thursdays?
gonna look the same. He wanted to make sure you were gonna look the same.
Didn't he
Yeah.
come in? He came in like after that happened. He came in when we were playing or cutting or something, and he came in with paper and he had like
Oh
the
my-
word
Oh yeah.
contract.
Yes,
He
yes,
wrote
yes,
contract
yes,
on a piece of paper and was like handing it. You gotta sign it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is super cute.
Oh man, it's
love
hilarious.
it.
Freaking character.
Why are you going after me? I'd be going after like Mick Jagger or somebody. Somebody gonna make us some
You're
money.
Mick Jagger
You know?
to him. I love that.
I might not be your best investment, kid. You know?
Oh
Shh,
man.
don't tell him that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Start negotiating a contract now.
Well, he's learning, right?
Well, my way out of it is to look older in 10
Right,
years.
right.
So I'm just letting time kind of take
Right.
care of that.
Love that.
Well, at least at least the band he watches, they're super tight. So he's gonna have some pretty high expectations when he gets
Yeah.
older, man. He's gonna be like, I can't be in any bands unless I'm friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You my friend?
Yeah.
You're out of the band. I don't like you. If you're not my friend, get out of here. You gotta go. He's gonna be firing people. I'm like, oh man, you ain't never gonna have no band. Yeah, he's doing the same thing I did growing up, watching my dad play. My dad rehearsed in my house. Same thing. It was like it's the same scenario. It's crazy.
Your dad's
Life-
band was bad.
Life repeats itself. It's crazy.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. I didn't grow up like that, but I'm jealous of people who did. I think it's just more like it's like the mystery around it. I'm just like, wow, how cool. Like you grew up with like your parents playing in a band and like, you know, around like I didn't even really understand
Yeah, you know.
until I started playing with people and I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm starting to see how this works. Like,
This is fun.
yeah, this is fun. This is cool.
Nah,
My
it was
parents were
definitely
like
cool. I was very
appreciators of
yeah.
music, and my dad plays music, but he was like, just he wasn't in a band. Like he just like would play, like learn things
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
that he would teach himself songs and stuff like that.
What did he play?
He plays keys and he plays guitar.
Okay.
And he's just like he just has a ton of stuff in the house, like all kinds of keyboards, we have a piano, all kinds of guitars and stuff. So he would just like mess around with things and kind of like, I don't know. He's like he's like an artist in a lot of ways too. I mean, he's a businessman, but I think in his like personal interior life, he's like an artist, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the part that I learned from him. But it's different. I think just like the culture. My parents are very social people, so in some ways, like they had a lot of parties. So I did kind of grow up with that I think one thing about being a kid, I imagine, because I didn't grow up with parents that were in a band, but like what you're describing about your son and stuff, it's like I think you just grew up with this like sense of family and of like
Yes.
people are doing something contributing something together.
I was
know?
friends with my dad's friends.
Right.
And my son is too.
Yeah,
And that was a
that's
very
awesome.
important thing for me to see.
Yeah, because a
happen.
band, it becomes a family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My dad's friends and his close friends that he ran around with, he still runs around with the same guys, but from when I was a little kid, and even the guys that he played music with and stuff, aside from my uncles that were in the band, their family, you know, he watched me. Those guys knew me as, like, you know, 1 year old, 2 years old, 2, 3, all the way up teenager, all the way 20, 30. Now I'm, you know, I'm an old guy now. You know, so it's like, you know, it's really interesting when I see them and we, like, you know, hang out and swap stories and throw down shots together, and they always bug out at, like, fuck, man, you know, you were 2 years old yesterday, and I'm doing the same thing, you know, and so it was a really important thing for me to have that in my life, to see my kids, like my kids generally, yeah, they really like my friends. They really love you, Harvey, and, like, Josh.
You got cool kids.
It's crazy. Like, they consider you their friends. It's like, aside from me, it has nothing. I don't even know if they made a connection.
In the picture, I'd be getting phone calls.
Yeah,
They'd have
I don't think they made the
exactly.
connection that I introduced you guys.
Hello. Don't forget. Yeah.
You know?
Remember before you were not here? I knew your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew your mom.
So
I knew
funny.
your dad.
Oh, man.
You see this? I did this. I did this for you.
You put out a 45 recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. How's that going? It sounds awesome.
Good. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, sounds really good.
It's going very well. I don't know. I'm, like, excited and also scared all the time. So I'm like, yay!
Good balance.
Yeah, it's
Balance.
like I'm like, it
Keeps you on
happened,
your
we
toes.
did it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Also, like, oh my god, we did it. Oh no, now what do we do? Like it's like the when the record release party happened, I had all this anticipation. I was like just working so hard to get that show together and just finish all kinds of projects. I had, like, so many things going on at the same time, and I was just like, okay, I'm overtired. I just need to get through this show and, like, do a good, like, I just really wanted to do a good job and be like, all right, it's out there, and have this, like, celebration. And the day of the record release came, and I was so tired from just hustling that I thought it was going to be this, like, moment of elation of, like, we're here, we did it. And really, I was just like, oh my God, we're here. We did it. Like I was just so tired, and that night I couldn't even like I had a great show, but I was, like, psyched and everything, but it ended, and I was like, okay, how soon can I go home? Like, I was just so tired, and the next day I just thought, okay, I'm gonna just take it easy this Friday. Like, this is the first day in a long time that I'm like, I met my deadlines. I don't have anything pressing now. Like, I can take this day and just take it to myself. And that lasted about, I don't know, 8 hours maybe. And, like, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock the next day rolled around, and I was like, oh my God, we have a record out. Oh my God, we have to sell that record. Oh my God, what do I need to do? And then I was, like, pulling out my notebook, like, okay, what needs to happen? Who do I need to talk to? Like, what kinds of things do I need to be doing? You know, and just like the rest lasted no
How do I
time.
get rid of these?
Yeah, like, what do I do?
Wholesale. Retail. Jesus Christ. Dump store in Japan. Come on, man.
Yeah, no,
There's
absolutely.
product.
It's so true. It's like you realize, like, you're so excited because I mean, for so long I was like, I just want to have this thing. Like, it's like the physical thing was, like, so important to me to have this end product. And then I was like, great, yeah. And then I realized, oh my God, the end product is not the end product. The end product is the beginning. The end product is actually the beginning. And now you're just like, wait, I gotta get this into people's hands. Now, after I get it into people's hands, I have to be like, oh, what else you got? Oh, yeah, I got something ready. Like, sure, it's right here. Let me, you know what I mean? And it's like, all of a sudden you realize, like, no, it's not the end product. It's the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the inception. I was like,
It's the end of what, like stage 3?
Yeah.
But then there's stage 4 and 5.
And and it's just endless. And that, I think I had that sort of, like, panic/realization at that moment on Friday. I was just like, wait, what am I doing sitting around? I don't have time to sit around. Like, I gotta get moving.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's hard getting rid of getting rid of.
Yeah.
Just getting it out there, you know. It's
Getting rid of.
You know what I'm talking about? Not getting rid of, but like, you know, it's just.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's everything's so oversaturated too, and it's hard. Nobody wants to buy anything.
Right.
You know what, in the current climate of everything, though, the thing that I really like that I'm seeing is that one of the benefits of vinyl coming
Totally.
That's true, yeah.
is
Totally.
that musicians are playing shows to promote their vinyls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And playing shows is traditionally how we've made money.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's
You
back
know,
to
so
that.
At least in all the, because the digital thing is just a scorched earth. When you look at historically how we've always made money, it's never changed. And at least it's cool to see that coming back.
Totally. I mean, I think that I 100% agree, because I think that one thing I feel really lucky about being with names you can trust is, like, you know, people who follow that label, like, they have a passion for vinyl and for records and for physical. I mean, people obviously download things too, but I think because of that, it's like it just automatically kind of, you may not be sort of speaking out to the entire world, but you're speaking to a group of people who really care about this thing. So, like, I feel like that's I like that dynamic. Like, I don't aspire to be like a pop star or sell 1 million records, or, you know, I mean, of course, those things would be nice to be having, have financial success and to be playing shows all the time. But I think what's even more important to me is that, like, finding a community that appreciates what I'm doing, like, understands what I'm doing, you know, that respects what I'm doing. And I feel so lucky
have
that,
one with us?
yeah, I feel so lucky that not just in the family of the label, but also just like in the community that I've found in Brooklyn, you know, of other musicians, of people, you know, like you guys that I just have met along the way. I feel like the vibe is so strong, and that I've connected with so many people now that it's like, I definitely pay attention to who's putting out things, and, like, you know, and I value that stuff. And it's like, I don't need every person in the whole world I don't need it to be like in every person's hands.
That's right.
But I want it to fall into the right hands. Into the people who are going to be like,
That's
wow,
good. Yeah.
dope. I was waiting for this is what I was waiting to hear, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I
that's what
totally
I care
feel
about.
you on that. I never wanted to be like a pop star or anything like that.
No.
That's ridiculous. But, you know, just playing in front of in a good room
Right.
every night would be pretty sweet. You know what I mean? Like a room. I said a room. You know what I mean? Like, key word there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not this huge thing, you know, but a good room every night would be pretty sick. I would love that.
You know, your accessibility is there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like, you know, Alba wants to be the next Taylor Swift.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you're like, as
Yeah.
long as I do something that, like, it's cool with me and it means something
Yeah.
to me, I put a lot of work into it, and let's just put it out, cast the net, and
Yeah.
if people gravitate to it, they gravitate to it. If not, they don't. What I learned about doing that archive shit is that this just wasn't meant for now. 20, 30 years later, I could press this 45 and sell it for 10 grand. Mm-hmm. You know?
The archive,
Yeah.
meaning for our listeners, I don't know what you're
Whichever
talking about.
archive we're talking about,
Yeah, I
whichever
know,
one.
but
you know?
specifically,
But yeah,
Like
like
you-
Clive stuff,
Yeah.
you know, like all that stuff. It was like the Lord Creator stuff, like we were talking about
Right.
the Ranchera stuff.
Yes.
Like, I got some Lord Creator tunes that are just like it. To me, I heard this one, and it was like, this is the best reggae song ever. There's nothing that's gonna beat this, you know.
it was a Lord Creator too.
Yeah, oh, dude, Lord Creator is the be all end all for me when it comes to reggae now.
Wow.
I've always loved him, and I only heard him. He did a version of not Kingston Town. Sometimes you got a lot of money, yeah. Yeah, he did that with Lee Perry, so there's that weird scratch thing, ding, 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 thing going on. The original,
I know exactly what you're talking about. But that's a really funny description.
the original was Scott from like the early days that he did with
Wow.
Randy's, Clive's father.
Amazing.
So then I started hearing all the stuff, and then I started learning about him more. Then I found there was a couple tapes with him with the big band from Trinidad.
Oh shit.
So he was like because he was from Trinidad, he wasn't from Jamaica. So he came from to do like Kingston Town, like we brought him over and stuff. And the edibles just
This
really
guy-
right now.
I was watching you for a second. I'm like, tell me more.
Keep
Tell me
rambling,
more,
dumbass.
Bill.
Yeah. But anyways, Lord Creator was kind of like monster.
When you got into the Lee Perry, ding, 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 I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, we're going for a ride now.
That was Lord Creator going to.
Wow.
So just because you make something now
yeah,
and you have the product of the vinyl,
right.
it might not pop now, but in 5 years.
Yeah, and I also think, going back to what you kind of said before, I think that the fact that vinyl, like the collecting is like kind of on an uprise,
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's really great for people like myself who are making music, because I think it automatically, like people who, I think in general, people who appreciate vinyl, be it things that they're discovering from the past or like things that are getting put out now, I think that there's just like a type of appreciation that goes hand in hand with that sort of like digging and that finding, of music that is like really valuable to people like me, because it's like, I'm never gonna probably have that wide of a net for so many reasons, and that's okay. But like, if I can connect with that person who's like, oh, I wanted to find that next cool thing that like,
Yeah.
I
And there's a lot of those
had the
people.
experience of like digging up, So
You said it right when you said value.
Yeah. It's sort of like the physical thing. You have this appreciation for the process in a way.
It's true.
Yeah.
The music.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
It's like the whole package, everything.
Totally.
It's everything. It's such a bummer that it's gone. It's not gone, but you know what I mean. It's not like
The way
everybody doesn't do it like that.
Right.
The whole process isn't like that for everybody. But I'll tell you what, if I go see a band, or when I go see a band rather, and I like them, I come home with their vinyl
Yeah.
almost every time.
Right.
Like that's like what I do now. That's probably the only time I buy vinyl, unless I'm like, scouring eBay for like super like rare Creole shit that I don't own already. You know what I mean? Like all these weird missing links for me. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll pay $85. I'm like, you should be in my collection. So this is the only time I'll ever come across this in my life. So I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that stuff. But
Well, that's
Every-
the beauty of vinyl too. It'll get you.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh,
Get
yeah.
you.
oh yeah.
You just see you see it, but then you also see like the little hand. There's like the label that says what band it is, and then you just see the hand coming out.
Right. Yeah.
You're mine.
But when I go see a band, though, current bands and stuff, and I definitely obviously supporting them, but like it's a souvenir for me from the experience. I saw you play. I had a great time at the show. I'm buying this because now every time I put this on, I'm remembering how I felt there. There's an archived feeling from that
Definitely.
experience. On that note, how can we get the vinyl? How can everybody get the vinyl? Or find
You
it?
can get it on namesyoucantrust.com. Alba and the Mighty Lions, and there's also a link to like a downloadable version. I think it's on Bandcamp and all the other streaming, iTunes, Spotify, whatever, Amazon Music, wherever you get your music, it's there.
I know. I
yeah.
find myself saying that too.
Wherever you get
it's
your
such a funny
music,
thing to say.
your favorite
Just look
streaming
everywhere.
platform.
It's there.
Yeah, just look everywhere, it's there. But if you want the physical, you can come to one of our shows, or you can go to namesyoucantrust.com and you'll find us.
Any shows coming up in the?
Yes, well, I don't know when people will be listening to this, but we are playing November 15th, I believe, at Rockwood next. And then I don't know what else after. I kind of burnt out a little, and I was like, I'm going to take a break for like a few weeks, because I just realized I had a lot of work to do to get the record push. And I was like, okay, we just did our record release. We got a lot of people out to that. Now I got to like spend some time trying to put the record and the music in more people's hands, and then get those people to the show, and then just keep building on that. So, I like try to be sort of take it seriously in the sense that I want to do it well, and I want to put my best effort forward for everything. But I also trying to like not, remember to enjoy everything and have space for creating more, because otherwise it's too easy to get burnt out. So I'm kind of like in that limbo of like, okay, we got to find a space of a middle ground, you know, playing shows, doing it, being out there, working it, but also taking time and not overdoing it. Being a human being. Yes, being a human being. Totally.
Living.
Yeah, living.